We're continuing simulation of Gimel, Sif Hey, Shir 9, middle of Shir 9. We'll try to finish Shir 9 today and get into Shir 10. So we left off last week with the Magen Avraham. So it says over here, the Ramah says, Yesh matirim litin l'teicha tanur. Some people are matter to put into the tanur she'ofel b'yim v'yidyoyim. The machash like tminu by rak ofel b'yim v'yidyoyim. V'ynisher by rak hevel ma'at. There's only a drop of heat. Ve'ein lachash l'bishol. So then we spoke about last week, we're putting it into teichai, into the oven. Is that part of Tanai Chazara or not? So now the Ramah finishes here. B'vad shaloy nitztan legamri. It has to be talking about that the food they're putting back into the oven was not nitztan legamri. And why do you need that for? Why does it have to be talking about that it was not nitztan legamri? So the Magen Avraham says over here, shaloy nitztan afilu b'davar she'ein by marak. Even something that doesn't have marak, which is oidav yavesh. The less pay mishum bishul, because it's already cooked. It ain't bishul achar bishul. Also in the tztanein, if it cools down, it's also to put it back in. To hafal lekimeniach, lekira lechatchila b'shavis, to aser leitiru el chazara. Says the Magen Avraham, something that's been tztanein legamri, then it loses its shem chazara. It becomes nesina lechatchila on Shabbos. So it means that we have a new Tanai chazara. There's no problem with bishul. Because it's Davar Yavesh. With Davar Yavesh, there's never a problem of Bishul Acha Bishul. But still, it's also to put it back into the oven on Shabbos, because it's not Chazara anymore. Now it's already called the Sina Lichatchila. That's what the Magen Avraham says. And the problem with that is that the Magen Avraham in the Sifkon Yotes said not that way.
What I don't understand. Like here, he's just saying that it's that he's telling us what the Tanai Chazara are. One of them is that you just shouldn't let it cool down.
The Gamri.
Right.
Even Davar Yavesh.
Right.
That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying here, the Magen Avraham.
Right.
The question is, we saw before not that way. The Magen Avraham himself said before. The Magen Avraham before says when it says in the Mechaber in Sif Beis, the Magen Avraham is Sif Kol Yotes. So the Mechaber says, "Kol zman she'risachas," we're allowed to put it back. Says the Magen Avraham, why? Risachas sheyat shalodestoy. I am ashok savtze machine ches yivdal like ash. V'nag lehakel le'nistan legamrik machos ches v'tot v'ayis and zeh. To like the back, I will understand and Oz have a bishul. The end of the Magen Avraham explains to you what's the whole problem about Nitztanon over here. Because if it cools down, it's a problem of bishul achar bishul. That's why you can't put it back in. But a davar yavesh, there's no problem of bishul achar bishul. It's mutter. So you see the Magen Avraham says over here that reisachas is only a problem by davar lach. But davar yavesh is not a problem. Why? Ain't bishul achar bishul. The question is, what do you mean? It's the stanin. You see over here in the stanin, even Davar Yavesh is now put back into the oven. It's a kash, right? That's a Spiro on the Magen Avraham. It's clear?
I just want to clarify. So, before you look at the Magen Avraham, just in terms of the Ramah, the Tanai Chazara, the assumption is that for the Tanai Chazara, when we say it can't cool down, what kind of a food are we talking about in the Ramah?
The Ramah here or the Ramah before?
The Ramah days where he gives the Tanai Chazara.
That's the question. Says the Magen Avraham, we're talking about only the Davar Lach. Not Davar Yavesh. The Davar Yavesh is not a problem.
That's what I'm saying. So the Magen Avraham is the way we have to understand is that there is no Ramah. I mean, in fact, it's only the Mechaber.
The Mechaber, Risachas, right.
So, there is only Risachas. So we don't have another thing. So there, he's interpreting that.
Risachas is because of if it's a sign of the Gamri, then if it's a sign, then it's a problem of Bishul Achar Bishul.
So then it comes out. If we're saying that this is a kasha here, or it's a Spiro, it means that it comes out that means you would not have a problem taking a cold item,
right?
Something which is completely something which is completely cold, then you don't have a problem with there is no chazara, else it becomes an asin lechatchila.
That's right. That's the Magen Avraham is saying over here that it becomes an asin lechatchila. Who says I take something off the oven on Shabbos I wait till it cools down the gamri.
Right.
I want to put it back on the oven.
Now it's in this. Once it gets cold, the gamri.
That's the Magen Avraham. That's the Magen Avraham. It becomes an Asin Lechatchila. Who says maybe it's a Chazara? Who says it's an Asin Lechatchila? Maybe that's called Chazara still. I never put it down.
But is that a Spiro in the Magen Avraham?
Yes, because the Magen Avraham says before. No, the Magen Avraham says before. See your test. That the reason why it has to be Risachas
is because it's prohibition.
What do you mean? That's prohibition.
But there he's talking about something that's liquid. What about if you were just to ask something on dry?
Who says the Mechaber is talking about liquid? Maybe the Mechaber means Davi Yavish also. And the reason why you need Risachas is because if you take it out and it cools down, it becomes an Asin Lechatchila.
Everybody agrees that on Davi Yavish there's no English Lachar.
Right, but who says the Tanai of Risachas in the Mechaber? Mechaber says it has to be Risachas. Why does it have to be Risachas? I'll tell you a different shot. You know why? Because if it cools down, it's an Asin Lechatchila. That's why it has to be Risachas. The Magen Avraham Chief Kohen says no, it's not Pshat in the Mechaber. Pshat in the Mechaber is it has to be Risachas because if it cools down, Yesh Bishul Acha Bishul. So it's a steer to this Magen Avraham. Why does he have to say the Mechaber is talking about by a double lach? Let him learn the Mechaber even at Davi Yavish. And if it cools down, it's a problem of Bishul Acha Bishul. It's a problem of an Asin Lechatchila, sorry. Right, that's a steer in the Magen Avraham. The other Achrayim don't look like the Magen Avraham over here. We'll see a second in the Gra. They don't look like the Magen Avraham that if it cools down over here, it's a problem of Asin Lechatchila. They learn over here Vashla and its time means because if it cools down, Bishul Acha Bishul. The same way the Magen Avraham said Tzif Kain Yotes. Bishul Acha Bishul.
Even by Davi Yavish?
No. Therefore Davi Yavish will be mutter. But Vashla and its time over here is because yes Bishul Acha Bishul.
When you said that this case is talking about Yavish and Esker's last, but there's still Gimel and Hay. This famous Davi Yavish.
Right, okay, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Yeah, that's why the Magen Avraham learns that way over here. Yeah, Lachrami. What Leander said is that the truth is, you look over here in the Ramah, Vashla and San Gamri. Who said we're talking about Davi Yavish? Maybe we're talking about Davi Lach. Where does the Magen Avraham know that we're talking about Davi Yavish? They should say that if it's San Gamri, even with Davi Yavish is a problem because of a sin of the Chatchila. Says this because this whole Sif is talking about Davi Yavish.
Right.
Yeah.
No. I mean, the partial way to learn is that CP is talking about something Davi Yavish.
Davi Yavish, right.
And there's nothing else. It's a Davi Yavish, and whatever was in Gimel, in Beis, was not Davi Yavish.
Right, but the problem is, but in Beis, it doesn't say Yavish or not Yavish. It says Resachas. The Magen Avraham learned the Resachas to mean a problem of Bishul Acha Bishul. Maybe Resachas should mean even a Davi Yavish. Like you see over here, it's standing, it's a problem of Mitzil Lechatchila. So before we're going to answer the Magen Avraham, still the Magen Avraham. Look in the Bir Allah over here. So look in the Bir Allah of Vashla and San Lagamri. It's on page 46 in the Mishaburis. The Vashla and San Lagamri, the Mishaburis. So it has the Mishaburis exactly inside. So I read to the Lashon of the Bir Allah. The Vashla and San Lagamri says to Bir Allah, Ayin b'Magen Avraham shekosel afilu b'davar she'ein by merak. Even so, it doesn't have liquid in it. The less by mishum bishul. Also, if it's done, and why? The havalei, it's like k'meniach l'chatchila, the kira l'chatchila b'Shabbos. It's like you're putting it on the first time on Shabbos. The osir, the leitira al-chazar akal l'shaynoi. The kavan osai. Why is the Magen Avraham saying that for? Taloi koya panadish. We're talking here about panadish. Hakosu l'mayla. To davar she'ein by marak. We're talking about panadish, which is something which doesn't have marak, which is Davi Yavish. The bezek kaim ulan dein bishul acha bishul. Afilu b'nitzan legamri. Uchav asif kan peivav. Bezek tiritz. The asa bezeh mishum the havalei kibeniach l'kira l'chatchila. Bechidish bezeh din chadash. And the Magen Avraham with bechadish a new din in Tanai Chazara that if it's nitztanein, there's a problem of Chazara. That's what the Bir Allah is saying. Avo. Says the Bir Alacha, B'Bir Agra, Kosav Ulevad, Kenal. Look at the Bir Alacha, in the Bir Agra. Every word in the Bir Agra is measured. If you look at the Bir Agra, it says Ulevad, is one when this halacha of Ashla and Tzan Legamri.
Which one?
The beer I grow. I'm not sure which. I'm not sure. I don't have numbers in mind.
No, me too. What are the first words?
Ubilvad. The beer I grow. Ubilvad. It's a one-liner. It's 3 letters.
You have book. No, you know.
Yeah. You have it?
This one, it's on page Reish Nun Ted. It's the third line.
You don't have to find it, it's just one word.
Well, it's Kedai, you should underline it. It's Kedai, see how they learn the beer I grow.
No, it's not this. It says canal. No, one more.
Yeah. You have it?
Very good. 3 letters.
The fourth line from down.
Yeah.
So the Gra says Ubilvad. Ubilvad Shalom is Tan Legamri. Says that we have got 3 letters.
Canal.
Right? Kinizbar Leel. That's all it says. Now what does it mean by canal? Says the Be'er Halacha. The Be'er Gra means canal. The same way before we said the problem of Bishul Acha Bishul. The same thing over here, the problem is Bishul Acha Bishul, Balach. And it's not a problem of Tanai Chazorah. So you go back to the Be'er Halacha. Avo Be'er Gra Kosiv, Ublevad, Kinal. V'rotza Loimar, Tartam, K'moishe Kosiv Reishli Beis. The Be'ina She Hei Reisachas, Dafko. You have to have Reisachas Dafko. U'K'moishe Pirish HaGra Shom HaTam. The Gra and Chief Beis explains why does it have to be Reisachas? Because if not, it's Bishul Acha Bishul. The Vistari Hey Oid Bishul Ayin Shom V'chei Mashman Lama Ayin V'Dakni Moshe Shekosov David Tzayin Hagam Kabei Seisiv V'choshel Hachmir V'zei Nevei Divrei Ramah Ba'Gazu. If you do at the time we say Shemachim Rishon Devina Shei Reisachas K'mo Shekshah V'seisiv V'atzam V'tchila V'tam Shei Reisachas V'kosov V'sei Beis Halo Bir Shom V'seisiv V'atzma Yidil Afachi Yeshayich Oid Bishul Ayin Shom. He calls them Muchach She'apirish Hu Ka'Gra. So it says to be halacha basically that the Gra says that the reason why Vashla is Tan Legamri is why? Is because of canal, and the reason is because Bishul Achar Bishul, and it's only by a Davar Lach. Only by something that's a Davar Lach that's Bishul Achar Bishul. Davar Yovesh, this halacha won't apply. So Bavad Shaloi Nitztana says the halacha according to the Gra is only a problem by a Davar Lach, by a liquid. Not like the Magen Avraham, which says Mefurish Bavad Shaloi Nitztana, even a Davar Yovesh. Now where's it coming from, the Magen Avraham? From, we said before in the beginning of the Be'er Halacha, because the Sif is talking about Panadish. Says the Be'er Halacha, Masha Hukshul Magen Avraham. Talai Koya Panadish, to Davar Yovesh, Poshet, the Ramah, Kola Bayesh Matirim, Gam, Davar Shesh B'Merak, Bazek Amar B'Vad. Says the Be'er Halacha, that when the Ramah starts saying Ubavad, Bayesh Matirim, detail, Tvechat Haner, now all of a sudden we're going on everything, even a Davar Lach. So that will answer the Magen Avraham's kasha. So basically we have a big machlokes of Magen Avraham and Gra. A Davar She'enes Tan Legamri. This happens a lot of times. Something that's a Tan Legamri, you're now going to put it back on the fire according to the Magen Avraham. Why? Because it's a Tanai Chazara. Even though there's no problem of Bishul, it's a Davar Yovesh. It's Tan Legamri, you can't put it back on the fire. According to the Gra, no problem. The Be'er Halacha passes like the Gra. So we're not going to pass them like this, Magen Avraham. But we still have a steer in the Magen Avraham. The Magen Avraham Sif Kan Yuteh said the only reason why you can't put it back on the fire is because it's Bishul Acha Bishul. It's mashma, if it's not Bishul Acha Bishul, it's mutter. So I'll share with you a Pri Megadim, and it's a very interesting Pri Megadim.
Just to understand 1 second. So when we talk about Tanai Chazara, so going back, we said that because it's Tanai Chazara, the way the Ramah learns it, and we never really, so the opposite of Reisachas and the Machaber, right? So we understood Lichtenstein and Legamre means that it doesn't cool down. So now, understanding what that was how we understood it, that are we now saying that only applies to a liquid?
Of course, right. Only to a liquid. By Yovesh, if it's a Tan Legamri,
if it's something,
dry.
If
it's Tan Legamri, according to the Gra, you're allowed to return it. Mutter, it's Chazara.
So when the Bir Halacha
Because
says...
it's in the Sina Lechatchila, or?
No, it's Mutter, because it's a Chazara. Even though it's a Stan Lagamri. If you have other Tanai Chazara, it's still Mutter. The Stan Lagamri is not a problem by David Yavesh.
And he's not going to call that in the Sina Lechatchila? Correct.
It's not called the Sina Lechatchila, it's called the Chazara.
So then what is in the Sina Lechatchila?
Take it out of your refrigerator. It wasn't on the fire on Shabbos. You take something out of your refrigerator and you put it on the stove.
What did the Gra say about that thing?
That's also. That's the Sina Lechatchila.
Even according to the Gra?
Yeah. That's the Sina Lechatchila. Take something out of your refrigerator. It was never on the fire on Shabbos. That's the Sina Lechatchila. Here the question is, if it was on the fire, I took it off, I'm holding it, whatever, you have the Tanai Chazara, and it cooled down before you want to put it back.
Cool down completely.
Lagamri.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're not losing the idea. If it still comes out of the fridge, that's still in the Sina Lechatchila.
Yeah, for sure.
Even Bishul Achar Bishul on dry.
For sure. That's still the Sina Lechatchila.
Okay.
And I would say, this is my own psak, you could argue if you want, but I would say we take something out off the stove Friday night, and you put it into your refrigerator. Shabbos in the morning, you want to put it back on and say it's Chazara, I would say it's not called Chazara. That's what I'm saying the Lechatchila.
I'll show you the source otherwise.
Yeah, I know that I'll I know that I'll
Maybe Hashem actually missing something, but can't you argue that the Magen Avraham here, at least in this case, is only talking about the fact is that it's also Yavesh because it's letocho instead of on top?
Yeah, could be. The Magen Avraham here, it could be. If you want to answer the Spiro, that here, we learned last week, talking about Betoichoi. Betoichoi, we said, the Machlok is Tanai Chazara. So the Magen Avraham, maybe, L'toichoi, inside, to hold, you have to have San Lagamri. Could be a teretz. But it's a little bit of a chiddush that you're inside of two things, Toichoi and San Lagamri. Yeah.
I mean, not a mess about
yeah, maybe that could be a teretz to the Magen Avraham. I'm sure the Pri Megadim asked the kasha. You probably have the Pri Megadim by you on the page. I have it in the back. And the Pri Megadim is a Mishpasei Zahav, Steve Cut and Yud Beis. I'm showing you this Pri Megadim that you should see how the Achronim, how they learn, and the Medaik every single word.
1 second.
Look at it. If you had the Pri Megadim, Mishpasei Zahav, Yud Beis, it starts, Yud Gimel. Yud Gimel. Im.
Reish Nun Vav.
Reish Nun Gimel.
In the page, Reish Nun Vav, at the top of the second column of the page.
Okay, but that's where it starts. You have to look down. It's not in the beginning. It's like a third of the way down the Pri Megadim. He says, "V'omnam hadavar akasha alai." V'omnam hadavar akasha alai. Yeah, but you? Give a paragraph of you. Which is Yud Beis. Middle. V'omnam hadavar akasha alai. Have it?
Yeah. Is it before?
There we go.
Umiu davar la.
Have it? V'omnam hadavar akasha alai.
One second.
About 10 lines.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
11 lines.
So look at the Pri Megadim. V'omnam hadavar akasha alai hu. Kumashikosav Magen Avraham the Kamon Islam Midvav. The Nitztanen Af B'Yavesh Aser Leitiru El Chazara B'Shabbos. Le'le Niach Lekiru Lechatchila B'Shabbos. And this is called, if it's San Lagamri, it's called Sina Lechatchila. Says the Pri Megadim, Zes Seisa Lekan. This is Seisa, it means Lekan means the Magen Avraham in Sif Kot in Yotes. But East to the Taisha Shabbos, Eisman Vav, Hirgish B'Zei Ayin Sham. So the Shabbos asks this kasha, and Black Tzarechim. V'hine liha ani, says the Pri Megadim, me the ani, who should be his ani, nira, she hefresh yesh, ve'nitztanen l'nitztanen legamri. There's a difference between a nitztanen and a nitztanen legamri. Says the Pri Megadim, ki machmas bishul, kol she'ein yad shaledes boy, or cliche ni yesh boy bishul, k'mar shkasa Magen Avraham b'shin etches, Eitzit Beis, u'min hava hu d'mekilim kishaloi nitztanen legamri, k'mar shkasa v'rab b'shin etches sif tezvav, loi medina k'kama poiskim oisim kol she'ein yad shaledes boy belach. V'omna b'yaveis b'nitztanen, kol she'cham k'tzas, afilu ein yad shaledes boy sharit les b'sham bishul. Ha! Nitztanen legamri aser the Chazara Tzanan loy lechatchila. Says the Pri Megadim, You know what's Pshat in the Magen Avram? They have a steam in the Magen Avrams. It says over here, Reisachas, says the Magen Avram, that's only by Davalach. Davar Yavesh is mutter. And here we see Lichtenstein is Aser. Says the Pri Megadim, there's a big difference. What's the difference? Something that's Lichtenstein in the Gamri, that's totally cold, says the Pri Megadim, did the Magen Avram holds, that's called the Nesina Lechatchila. If it's totally cold, but it has nothing to do with the first Nesina. It's cold. It's finished. Masha Enke, it's if you test, when it says Reisachas, it has to be hot. It has to be hot to let us boy. There he says the difference between Davar Lach and Davar Yavesh. A Davar Lach is after because Bishul Lach Bishul. A Davar Yavesh is mutter. Why? Because ain't Bishul Lach Bishul, and it's still warm. As long as it's still warm, we didn't lose the total din of Chazara. So it makes a chiluk in the Lichtenstein and the Lichtenstein Gamri. Very interesting Pri Megadim. If you look in the Ramah here, the Ramah says Bilvad, Shaloi, Lichtenstein, and the Gamri. Why? It makes a lot of sense. Once something cooled down totally, it's totally cold, why is that called Chazara anymore? What shaykh does it have? It was on the fire originally, so what? It lost any shaykhs to the fire, it lost. Because now it's totally cold. Says the Pri Megadim, therefore it is Aser. That's what I'm coming.
Even Yavesh.
Even Yavesh. That's a Magen Avram.
Right.
To be a locher as a pass like the Magen Avram. Even Salah Gamri is mutter. But I think the refrigerator already we should be machmer. Put it away totally. There's no shaykhs to the fire, no shaykhs to the oven. I would say everybody holds that's called the Nesina Lechatchila. Okay, that's the steer of the Magen Avram, and that's the Bir Halacha. Let's move on. And we're going to say one more interesting goyim, and then we'll wrap up this halacha. So it says, "V'yesh matir litan tachatayat she'afu b'merdem v'akar shel tzmir b'rak afu b'merdem le'ishta b'rachev ma'at ve'elach shel bishul u'b'lvat shel esar le'gamri." V'yesh machmir b'zeh. And some people are machmir. They don't let you put it into the oven on Shabbos, even though the oven is cool already. It's not as hot as it was. Still, toicha is also. We spoke last week. The Yesh Machmirim hold that toicha is part of the Tanai Chazara. Putting it inside is one of the conditions of Chazara. Now, says the Ramah, "V'im hachoim kol kach b'tanur." If the heat in the tanur is so hot, shayatza levis boy, awesome. It's awesome. That's what the Ramah says. That if the oven is hot, don't forget we're talking about Shabbos morning, and you want to put it back into the oven Shabbos morning. Erev Shabbos you cook something in the oven, so Shabbos morning it's not as hot. What does it mean not as hot? So if you learn the Ramah says, "Im hachoim kol kach b'tanur sheyatz lesbe aser," it's aser. His mashma, the whole machlokes till now was what? When it wasn't yatz lesbe by the oven, and still the machlokes if you're not put it into the oven or not, even when it's not yatz lesbe boy. Right? That's what will come out. Because the Ramah says, "Im hachoim kol kach b'tanur sheyatz lesbe aser," he's going according to everybody.
Yeah, but this is tocho. That's why it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not on top.
It's also it's also the im. If it's a kol kach b'tanur sheyatz lesbe aser. Why is it aser? Says the Goyin, it doesn't make sense that it should be aser. Because we said in the beginning of the Siman, a cloud, that if the oven is not hot, it's not yatz ledes boy, then it's like your refrigerator. An oven that's not yatz ledes boy has no dinim at all. It's mutar legamri. So therefore the Goyin changes the vav. If you look in the Goyin, v'yesh machmirim b'zeh. The next Goyin after the Bavad canal, after the one we just saw before, another short Goyin.
V'yesh matir.
V'yesh machmirim b'zeh. She'im kein tzarech loy meluchanal. He changes it from a vav to a shin. V'yesh machmirim, when is the chumrah? Only in the case she'im hachoim kol kach b'tanur sheyatz ledes boy it's aser. But of course, if it's not yatz ledes boy, it's mutar legamri. That's what the Goyin learns the halacha. So it comes out according to the Goyin, if the tanur is not yatz ledes boy, everyone agrees it's mutar not machlokes. If you read the halacha the way it is, ve'im is mashma that if it's yatz ledes boy, everyone agrees it's aser. The machlokes is only when it's not a yatz ledes boy. So the Goyin changes it for that reason. And if you remember the Magen Avram, the beginning of the Siman, the Magen Avram in Sif Cotton Test, he says, one of the things is, Sifka and Test, among Avram says, that the Siyat Saledus boy, right, going under the Mah, but Tadna Afilim Hutz B'Kash V'Gav, also Afilim Tzvachloi, Afilim Gar B'Katim, Hagar, Kol Man, Shayat Saledus boy. The Mah it says, the only time it's also to put it into an oven is only when Siyat Saledus boy. It says the Magen Avram Sifka and Test. Shayat Saledus boy, Avol, the Mene Yat Saledus boy, Mutter Litin Afilim Agavo, Afilim B'Shabbos. There's no problem. It's not Yat Saledus boy. It's like a counter. Ayin Seif Siv came Ashim with Gemara of Agos Mordechai of Ayin Shemish in Chesed Dal V'Efsher. Tafilu ain't Garav V'Katim Shari. Even if it's not Garav V'Katim Shari, that's the Salaf over here. Right? Says the Rav, Miu, B'Sif Hey, Mashma, the Aser, Losleis, L'Toichai, Ayin Sham B'Haga. What does he mean?
Because he learns it ver instead of
He learns it ver. He doesn't change it to the Shin. Miu, B'Sif Hey, Mashma, the Aser, Losleis, L'Toichai, Ayin Sham B'Haga. It's also to put it in, even though it's not a Yatzel this boy, because he had the Vim, he didn't have the She'im. That's the Machlokes here. Okay, let's move on.
So, how do we understand, like, if it's Garav B'Katum, but it's Yad Soledefo?
It's Garav B'Katum, it's not this boy, yeah?
Then it's not a problem?
You gotta keep it on. You gotta put on the Chatchila, but you gotta keep it on.
Chila or Chazar?
Chazar is mutter, and the Shi is mutter, but it's in the Chatchila will be also. Okay, now, the rest of the Sif, we're going to a little bit of Mir al-Akam. Says the Ramah, anything they're not allowed to do from all these halachas we said till now, you're not allowed to tell a guy to do it for you. Any halacha that you cannot do, you're not allowed to tell a guy to do it for you, whether it's a din deraisa, whether it's a din derabanan, chazara b'Shabbos, and it's something that's already cooked, it's a din derabanan. It's cooked. Chazara on Shabbos only is a din derabanan. You're not allowed to tell a guy to do it for you, even though it's only a din derabanan. A guy, you cannot tell to do a malacha for you on Shabbos no matter what. I think Mishmur speaks that very clearly. Yeah, Mishmur Sif Khan Tzadi Dalid. V'chol hadvarim, hainu, hafilu dvarim she'ein behem rak isad rabbanon. Even things that only have an isad rabbanon, also is asur. You're not allowed to tell a guy to do anything for you on Shabbos, even an isad rabbanon he's not allowed to do for you.
So the question is, there is a concept, right?
Shvus to shvus.
Yeah.
Yeah, shvus to certain times, yes. There are certain times shvus to shvus is mutter.
Wouldn't this be a perfect example?
Why?
Why?
Mokum mitzvah. Why?
You do the Shabbos.
Who says you have no other food? If you have food, who says?
Okay, so let's say it is.
Okay, so if you have no other food besides this, you want to know it's mutter to tell the guy to warm it up for you. You have to ask your local competent Orthodox rabbi. Because you have to know if that's called the Mokum Mitzvah. You have to know if that's called the Mokum Mitzvah. Suda Shabbos, we'll get to it.
Right.
We'll see. This heter of Shvus to Shvus is not a loose heter.
In the Rishonim you already see it. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. There is a heter of Shvus to Shvus, a Mokum Mitzvah. There is a heter.
Yeah.
But it's not a loose heter. If you did food for Shabbos, you can't just say, Shvus to Shvus is mutter. If you have other food, you could get other food.
Your neighbor.
It could be it's only for we'll see in Rishon Daled. The next simon we'll see. That we'll matter for Suda Shabbos certain things, and because of mitzvah, but only bread. If you have bread to eat already, and now you want to go ahead and have a cholent, who says that's a heter? Once you have bread, you have Suda Shabbos already. So it's not a heter for everything. Anytime you have Suda Shabbos, you can go ahead and tell the guy to do something for you. Eventually we'll get into the Torah of Shvus to Shvus, where they apply. So you can't tell a guy to do it for you. You want to tell a guy to go warm up the Kedera and it's Taneim, it's awesome. And if you did do it, it's also to eat it even if it cooled down afterwards. Now, let's see the Magen Avraham here. This comes from, and I'll give you Akdama. This comes from a Rashba. Right? The Hachem HaKadeira, the Pashtus means Bishul Acha Bishul. It's cold, you want to rewarm it, yes, Bishul Acha Bishul. So what's the problem? The guy cooked it for you. So once he did an Isser, he cooked it for you, even if it's started, it's awesome. So the Magen Avraham says over here, Sivkote Lamed Zayin, L'Hachem HaKadeira Kosev says B'Shem Rashba Osir Leimer L'Akum L'Hadlik Eish L'Chamam HaKadeira. You're not allowed to tell a guy to light a fire. So the Rashba says the problem here is not Bishul. The problem is the guy is lighting a fire for you to warm up the Gdeira. The Ilu L'Hachem HaKadeira, to warm up the Gdeira without lighting a fire. Even the Yisrael is allowed to, because the Rashba holds Ein Bishul Acha Bishul even by a Dover Lach. That's what Rashba says. We'll see when we get the Semicha in Yechiel. When it comes to Semicha in Yechiel, if that's Vav. Kivin She'ein Noisna Gabi Eisha Akira Mamish. Therefore, it's not a problem. For the more cost of Stam, also Leimer L'Achim L'Hachem. He just says Stam. He doesn't say that the guy is lighting a fire. Why does he just say Stam? The Spiro the Spiro Lanu. So also the Chamamoy Midai Raisa. So to dig in the Magen Avraham Midai Raisa, that we hold the Bishul Acha Bishul B'Davalach. It's an Issa Midai Raisa. Also Leimer Gamkein L'Akum. You're not allowed to tell a guy to go ahead and warm it up for you, because yes Bishul Acha Bishul, it's an Issa Midai Raisa. Then also came also Afilu B'Di'eved. If the guy warmed it up for you, even if it cools down now, it's awesome. When it comes to Sif Al, but then Hikta Akam Agabekira. Umiya says the Ramah. So now the Ramah basically said the Rashba said it's talking about the guy is lighting a fire, because the Rashba holds if you're warming it up, it's not Issa Deraisa.
When it cools down, what's the issue? You're not benefiting anymore.
Oh, so when it cools down, the reason why it's Asa is because it made a knas. Once you told the guy to do something for you, and Issa Deraisa, and it did it for you, there's a knas. Even now, even though now you're not benefiting from it, it still stays awesome. It's a punishment.
But isn't it mashma in the Rashba that the guy is lighting the fire to warm the house, not stam to warm? They're not the case?
No, not in that case.
No,
that's later on.
That's later on.
Here's when the guy is lighting the fire under the...
He's making, heating the house, and then he's doing that.
So anytime the guy is being open Issa Deraisa, we give a knas. And even now, you're not being netted from it, it cools down, it's still awesome. The Spiro done sorry, Mir Yeshlema, Dim Leichimu Me'akim Agabe Ha'esh, Ayakira Mamish. The Yesh Lahako Me'achas Agadei, the Peskim Atirim, Afil Yisrael Asayse, Vayamash Aksafat, Semeshan Dalish, Sif Gimel. Says the Magen Avraham, I'll give you a kula. In a case where the guy was not over on Chazara, he didn't put Agabe Yesh, but he warmed it for you next to the fire. So we hold Bishul Acha Bishul by Davalach. So since there is Paiskim that hold ain't Bishul Acha Bishul, so therefore says the Magen Avraham, I'll be Michel if a guy did it. Because our Paiskim would say a Yid could do it with Lechatchila.
Right.
Not on top of the fire. On top of the fire is Asr. You put it next to the fire and it rewarms. Says the Magen Avraham, in such a case it could be I'll be Michel because the Rashba holds that's even for a Yid to do that on Shabbos. And Bishul Acha Bishul, therefore be Michel. Right, it's cool. It's good to remember that. Klal the Magen Avraham. You find this all over Hilchos Shabbos, little klalim in the Magen Avraham, all the Paiskim, that it can be used in other places also. So here's a klal the Magen Avraham says: if somebody would say that a Jew could do this lechatchila on Shabbos, so if you tell a guy to do it for you, it's mutter to use it.
How do we understand that? Is that like a spec speka type?
No, it's not spec speka. No. It's not spec speka.
Because it's bedin, so...
Yeah, even though we hold that it's osir, by mir la'akim we're not going to be machmer. If there's somebody else who holds the middle lechatchil to do it. That's what the Magen Avraham is saying over here.
And if it's only...
What does that mean? It's mutter for the person to do?
No, you say that. It says if they did it, we're not going to answer it. That means we hold.
If there's a shita somewhere that says lechatchila is mutter.
If there's a shita that holds lechatchila it's mutter, and you went ahead and told the guy to do it for you, you hold it's aser.
Right, so now
the eved, we're not going to ask it.
Oh, but you can't do it like a...
No, you can't do it. You can't tell the guy to do it for you lechatchila. You cannot tell a guy to go do it for you.
But if he did it in any event.
If he did it, if you told him,
right.
and he did it, and then you realize afterwards it was also, it will be makel with the evidence that it's mutter.
You're saying there's a tziruf somewhere.
Correct. Correct?
The kind of heter you're using.
Correct, yeah. Okay. It's a Masuim that heter.
In the case where there is somewhere else that you could be signed with.
Right, Amira la'akibai b'di'evet, in the case where there's somebody else who says it's mutter l'chatchila to do it. That's the Magen Avraham is saying.
It says also, I read it somewhere, that if you did not say to him purposely go and put warm, but you would say something like, oh, I would like warm food.
No. We'll get to that. That's not.
Someone says, well, they did it afterwards. Comes to you on Shabbos.
No. We'll see. We'll get to it. A guy that does a malacha for you on Shabbos, whether you hinted him to do it for you, but he told him first to do it for you, you can't be nana from it. You can't be nana from it. It's a mistake that people make. If I hinted to the guy, then I could use it. There's two separate isurim. One's an issur to tell the guy to do something, and one's an issur to be nana from even if the guy does it on his own initiative. You didn't ask him to do it for you. He did it for you, then you can't be nana from it.
He did it himself. If he did not ask him.
No, he did it for something else. If a guy does a malacha for you on Shabbos, it's also to be nana from it, even issur to Rabbanan.
And the knas is only on Shabbos, right?
So the knas is only on Shabbos. After Shabbos if you use it. Not the shiyas on the knas, only on Shabbos. So you tell a guy to do a malacha d'oraisa for you, for sure malacha d'oraisa, he does it, Michel, or he lights a fire, and afterwards it cools down, it's still also. Even signing it's also. Once there was a malacha done for you, you're not allowed to be nana from it even after it cooled down. Says the Magen Avraham weiter.
Magen Avraham, by the way?
Huh?
Where was I?
Which one was it?
Lamed Zayin?
Lamed Zayin, middle, yeah. So at the end of the Magen Avraham says, "Va'ayim v'beishes Semicha tes Moshe Mordechai, timtzivo la'akum lasos le'melacha d'Rabbanan ein oisrin atavshol." That if you tell a guy to do a malacha for you, ein oisrin atavshol. Now what does this mean here? The Magen Avraham does not mean from the guy's Mordechai. From the Mordechai, I mean, that if you tell a guy to do a malacha d'Rabbanan for you, it's mutter. That's not what he's saying here.
No, it's b'di'evet whether the tavshil's okay, no?
It's b'di'evet, do we have the knas? That means, of course, the klal is, you tell a guy to do a malacha for you, even malacha d'Rabbanan, as long as you're having a no from it, let's say it makes it hot for you, and it's not bishul, it's also to be nana from it. All the Mordechai is saying here is, that this that we said now, even after it cools down, it's also. The Mordechai says that by Nisa d'Rabbanan will be makel after it cools down to use that food. But while it's still hot, you can't use it.
That's how you interpret it?
That's how you interpret it, yep. And I'll show you.
Where does it say it cools down? It doesn't say anything about cooling down.
The other way is that he's arguing on the Mishnah Berurah.
Who, the Magen Avraham?
Yeah.
No, the Mishnah Berurah is explaining.
The Magen Avraham is saying to you that you could, if it's an issur d'Rabbanan, you can go ahead and tell the guy, right? But the Mishnah Berurah says no, it's yeah. As I state in the
who says that?
In the English notes.
In the notes.
They learn there's a machlekes between the Magen Avraham and the Mishnah Berurah.
Right.
The what? The Mishnah Berurah holds the what?
That the Mishnah Berurah is machmer, that doesn't apply to even on Nisa d'Rabbanan it doesn't.
And the Magen Avraham holds the what? The Issa d'Rabbanan even while it's hot, it's mutter.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to argue in the English notes.
The Magen Avraham.
But the Pri Megadim argues on English notes.
Huh?
The Pri Megadim was this pshat the Magen Avraham, not me. Look at the Pri Megadim.
That's interesting.
I don't want to argue on the English notes. But if you look at the Pri Megadim,
so the Pri Megadim argues with the
yeah, the Pri Megadim can argue in the English notes, yeah.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find this for you. Before I make chayzik over here.
You go over for the English notes.
No, it says this is kind of right. Even with the one for disaster.
Yeah, look at the Pri Megadim. That's my first. The Pri Megadim, Yechiel Avram, Sifkat and Lamed Zayin. Yechiel Avram, Sifkat and Lamed Zayin. All the way at the end, Masha Kosa B'Shem Mordechai.
Yeah.
You see it?
This is Avram Lamed Zayin. Morgan Avram Lamed Zayin, yeah.
Oh, here it is.
From Masha Kosa B'Shem Mordechai, Huva B'Shem Semicha Tes, Hainu Magdela Medis B'Gecholim B'Amar L'Akim L'Hoitzi, Afshe Maver L'Gecholim, Melachim Tzich L'Gufim Midrabanon. Amuter Di Eved, Hainu, She'ein Yisrael Nana B'Zeh B'Tafshel. As long as Yisrael is not being nana from it, that means he made it hot. While it's hot, you can't be nana from it.
Okay, by the way, I take it back. English notes don't say that.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay, good.
How you interpret it, but I realize now you can interpret the way the Prima Government learns.
Oh, yeah, okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Shows how much the English notes are really.
No, but you have to be medayik in the words.
Yeah.
You have to be medayik. Now that I see the Prima Government, I see the.
That's what English notes meant.
Yeah.
Good. Very good.
Yeah.
So, the Eved, Hainu She'ein Yisrael Nana B'Zeh B'Tafshel. Ha, says the Prima Government. Kol She'Yisrael Nana, Af Melacha D'Rabbanan Aser. As long as Yisrael is being nana, even when it's D'Rabbanan, it's Aser. As long as it's having Hana, it's Aser. The whole Mordechai is saying that after it cooled down, there's a din knas, we punish you and when you use it the whole Shabbos, that din is not a din by a D'Rabbanan. That's what the Prima Government says.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay? Fine, that's kind of halacha. So therefore, if it cools down, even after it cools down, it's also to use it. Why? Because the guy did a malach in it. Says the Ramah to Omnam, in the case where it wasn't cooled down so much, the food, Shadayim ru'uyim le'echal, it's still right to eat the food. If the guy warms it up, then you're allowed to eat it. Now here's a big question, what the Ramah means here. I want to hear how the Olam learned it. Because the Ramah just said, that the Rashba says, if a guy does a malacha d'oraisa for you, the halacha is, it's a knas, you can't use it whole Shabbos. There's Omnam. Even though there's no hana, even though it's standard now, it's cold, you're not having any hana, it's mutter. Here he says, Omnam, the food wasn't that cold. Shadayim ru'uyim le'echal, you could still eat it. If the guy warmed it up, you're allowed to eat it. Right. Why? What's the pshat over here?
Because that's the same idea. You rematter amira la'akum when there's already when the benefit is not from 0 to a certain amount. It's just like the adding of a light. In other words, by amira la'akum, if there's already an existing light, you can already tell the guy to add more to add more. So if it's not kol instan and kol kach legamre, so then amira la'akum becomes mutter.
Okay, so you want to learn here.
Because even without the goy, it's real echo. So he's not making a major contribution.
Okay, so if you look, very good. So if you look in the Mishnah Berurah Sif Khan Tzadik Zayin, Shadayin Ruyin Lechol, Ulechein Alpha Gaf. You see it, Tzadik Zayin? Yeah. Ulechein Alpha Gaf. Shenena Me'achimum Shari B'di Eved. Kivish HaYachol Lechol B'lo Achimum. Afil Hamida Ein Yehuda Gabi Eish Mamish B'Tzivuyav Alpha Pekain Ein Leser Atavshal B'di Eved. You don't ask it B'di Eved. Now here, like you said, since you're not having such an awe, so when the Rashba said it's awesome, even though you're not having an awe, the guy went ahead, he warmed it up for you, and now it's cold. Why is that awesome?
That's a knas.
So that's a knas because at one point the guy did so much for you that he warmed it up for you.
Right.
So now you want to eat it signing, the knas stays.
Right. That's a knas.
Here, we never got to the knas.
Correct.
Because all the guy did for you was he warmed it up a little bit, and you were able to eat it without it. So we never got to the knas. That's the chiluk over here in this omnam. Now some achrayim they want to learn that the omnam is only by nissa d'rabbanan. By nissa d'rabbanan, we're not nene kol kach, it's mutter.
The nene kol kach is on it's not a deraisa.
Right. Only by nissa d'rabbanan. That's a some achrayim want to learn pshat over here in the Magen Avraham.
Well, why can't you? I mean, what's bothering to learn the way the first pshat?
Because the Chayim asked the question, and they say, we just say, even though there's no hana, it's also.
You gave an answer. The first one is it's
a knas because you did something so much to it. It's
not exist, and after that, and that's. My question is that why is it only mutter? Why does the Mishnah Berurah say only mutter b'diavad?
So mutter b'diavad. Can't do lechatchila. Can't tell the goy to do anything for you. Cannot tell a goy, even though you're not an enichal kach, you cannot tell a goy to do anything for you on Shabbos. Even if it's only a drop of hana. It's also a
this case where he's warming it up where it's already edible is like the guy's doing that with volition?
But the effort, we're not going to answer it. You did something wrong.
Even if you told him to do it.
Even if you told him, you did something wrong, you told him to do it, you weren't supposed to tell him to do it. Still, with the effort, we're not going to answer it. But don't go ahead. This with the effort, you're not going to answer it. But the effort, we're not going to answer it. He's not talking about a person who goes ahead. He knows the halacha. He's a lamdin. He knows, I'm going to tell a guy to make it warmer for me. I know with the evidence it's mutter. So I'm going to tell him to do it for me. Now with the evidence, now it's mutter. It doesn't work that way. That's called, that's amazing.
But couldn't this be a case where he did it by himself? Where we didn't say it to him?
No, that's not by himself.
The second case here, where
the Magen Avraham, I'll show you in a second. The Ramah did not speak about a case where he did it by himself. This Magen Avraham is talking about only, this Ramah is talking about only when you told the guy to do it.
Excuse me, you're telling the guy to do what exactly? Put it on a naked fire? Where's he actually putting it?
Fire.
He put it on a garf cotton? What's he putting it on?
Garf cotton, that doesn't make a difference. It's cooked away, don't forget.
Okay, but if it's still a little hot, couldn't you say there's also a tnai chazara, depending on what it is?
Yeah, so it's a d'rabbanan.
Right.
All this is d'rabbanan. Whatever he did, all the guy did was a d'rabbanan. That's what some of them want to learn over here. I'm not sure why.
I think the sheets, sorry to bring the sheets in, but I think they put this under the category acting on their own, on the gentle.
The omnam?
Yeah, I think so. But the way I'm reading it.
Yeah, I also read it too.
I don't think so. Again, I don't argue on the sheets, but.
The food was warm before she reheated it. It was mutter.
No, but that's the Magen Avraham. The Magen Avraham goes into a case that if the guy did it by themselves, how you tell the guy? If you look, and the reason I'm saying this is, if you look in the Makseh Shekel, on the Magen Avraham, Sif Kol Lam Ches, which we're going to see in a minute. If you look in the Makseh Shekel, the very short Makseh Shekel.
Which one is it?
Sif Kol Lamed Ches.
Lamed Ches.
The Makseh Shekel Lamed Ches. The Makseh Shekel says, "V'zel l'shayin dak l'Moshe." Says the Makseh Shekel, "Hu inyin b'fnei atzmoi." This is a new thing we didn't speak about till now. V'chidish din shelehuske b'shulchan aruch. Why? The b'shulchan aruch mayri sheYisrael tziva l'goy. Have it?
Yeah.
Tziva l'goy. V'dak Moshe mayri shegoy asa b'das atzmoi. So the Mechaber, this Ramah is not talking about when the guy did it by himself. It's talking when you told him to do it for you. And still, if it was warm, it's making it hotter, it's mutter. And the question is that only by nissa d'rabbanan, or even by nissa d'oraisa. The pastors, we don't see in the Ramah that it's only by nissa d'rabbanan. Because the Ramah the whole time is talking about nissa d'oraisa. Then he says, Omnam, but, and Lichtenstein kol kach, it's mutter. Where? By the same case we were talking about Tomna, by nissa d'oraisa. Now let's see the Magen Avraham, Sif Kol Lamed Ches. The Master came, Perish et Siva la'akum, la'asoisam, v'nirli de maril nami marvichai gavos is bashal abasa kredim Shabbos deloika ash. The Shabbos wants to learn a whole different shot in the maril. It says the Magen Avraham, it's not true. The maril is the same case as the Rajba. Now it comes with the documentation with the new halacha, like the Makseh Shekel just said. So the Mechaber, the Ramah was talking about, you told the guy. Now the new halacha. Zel Shain documentation kotzah by Zerua. Reisi b'beis Meiri, Shirliyoin, Shepa'omim Miskar Hasholent, the cholent got cold, or b'Shabbos, Koidim and Michel, before they would eat, but Likin ha'avodim eish, the Goyim, would go ahead and light a fire, Samach l'Kedeiros, Kadesh Yischamu b'toiv. that you get warmed up. So take it off from the where it was till now, and they put it next to the fire. And they say it's mutter. Why? The food is already warm anyway. Even if it was cooled down a lot, we don't answer it. Why? The kavanah was for the goyim themselves. They also ate the food. Then he said, even if they had a mind to warm it up for the Yisrael, ein lachash. You don't have to worry about it. The mistama ein ha-Yisrael roitze bekach. The Yisrael does not want it. They wouldn't let the goy go ahead and warm it up. When the avodim do it, they can't go ahead and answer it against our will.
I don't actually get this, because he's very clear at the beginning. He says that they would do it before they ate. So why would the goyim go and do it before the Jews, before the Eden were planning to eat lunch? They just want to do it.
No, they do it for the Eden. It is for the Eden.
So in that case, how can you say that they aren't doing it for?
No, there's two things. First of all, they ate the food also themselves. So they wanted it for themselves.
They also ate it. But they always ate after.
But even
three different levels of a terror, and he knocked each one. By the time he finished all of them, there's nothing left.
No, but it says even if they did it for themselves, even if they did it for the Israel, it's still mutter.
Yeah, there's a tremendous finish.
Why? Because lav kol k'minai lesser. If I tell a guy to do something for me, it's also. If a guy does something I don't need it from him, I'm not interested, then
what do you mean?
You already said, I mean, you plan to.
I don't need him to do it for me. I will eat it cold. I will eat the food cold.
You're sitting in a room that you could barely see, and a guy walks in and turns the light on.
Oh, one second. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
He didn't say that. The case here is not where you warmed up the food and you're eating it when it's hot. What we're saying here is, we'll see in a second, we'll see in the Mishnah here, this whole halacha here is that the guy went ahead and it was cold and he made it hot. So while it's hot, you're not allowed to eat it. The guy did it for you.
Correct.
Once it cools down, even though the guy did it, it's the rice for you, let's say, then the knas doesn't work.
So you have to wait.
Yes, you can't be nana from the Maisa Akum.
Okay, so
I'll show you. Read.
Because you didn't ask him.
Even if you didn't ask him. Even if he didn't ask him, you're not allowed to be nana from a goy's malacha that does it for you.
So when you say kol kamen lesser al kacheno, you're talking about the knas.
Correct.
So you just make all
Correct.
That's
look in the Mishnah Berurah Sivka and Tzadivov.
No. If he asks him, then there's a knas. But if he doesn't ask him,
there's no knas.
There's no knas.
And therefore he's not eating when it's cold, not when it's hot.
Right.
So if you're in a room and you don't ask the guy to turn on a light for you, it turns it on for you, you're not allowed to be nana from it.
That's not pshat in the.
That's not what I'm reading here.
He says you may eat it.
Right, but that's what he's saying.
Cool.
Only the knas.
That's the way she means. He says no. Okay, so look at the Mishnah Berurah.
He's reading it with extra words, knas.
Look at the Mishnah Berurah Tzadivov. Afilu tzayin. After nana melachta and Yehudi v'kamokai kansu sheyamta elav kleshiyasa. Sorry, he says you do it with kleshiyasa. Harav v'nasa melacha dei tzivuyav. Now, when also a Yehudi came atzmoi, the guy did it himself. B'shvil Yisrael, shari lechol.
Everybody together.
Tzayin, it says. Kivin she'einena mimelachta klal v'lehayiroitze b'kach im kein lav kol kaminei le'esa Yisrael. It says beforish.
Right. Here he says. Here it's much more beforish.
It's supposed to say beforish. Tzayin.
Okay.
Because you're not being nana. But if you're being nana from a goy's malacha on Shabbos, even though you didn't ask him to do it for you, it's also. It's also to be nana from a malacha of a goy on Shabbos.
The goy cooked for himself.
For himself, you do
left
it
over, and it's really hot. You come and you're hungry. You cannot eat.
Right. If the guy does it himself and it's hot, you're not allowed to eat. That's why
but it's left over. He really did.
No, if he did it for himself, it's somebody else. Every time I did it for you.
He liked kosher food.
Yeah, if he did it for himself, it's somebody else.
And he eat it. And left over. You come from the shul.
If he did it for himself, it's somebody else. Every time I did it for you.
Read this Magen Avraham and Paskin.
Let's just finish the Magen Avraham over here. For Bechuppah, he says, we give them lasas kain avdeihem. The avodim would do that. Ve'ein ish nimna melech loi. V'gamar be'etam zal v'shar gedel ador Spiro lehem the mutter. Umiyu You should stop the goy from doing it. Mishum da'avshi milsa v'ikhez milsa d'Shabbos. V'chol medinat l'shchichi b'urabanan. Any place where the banan and shchiach roy lesser aleim davazek klal. Even for doing it for themselves. You should ask the goyim to do it. Ad kan l'shaynoi b'ayin sim v'shin chafeis. So if you're the same sim involved. So the Magen says over here that if a goy does it by himself, lav kol kiminei l'esak l'chayim. You can't do it and ask for us. Now you do have a question. In the case where it's warm, and you could eat it the way it is, and the guy went ahead on his own initiative, and he went ahead and he made it a little warmer for you, it could be that case is mutter. Because you're not being nana so much from the guy. That case could be mutter.
Even when it's warm.
Even when it's warm, because you're not being nana so much. I mean, if you're in a room and you can see, and the guy comes and turns on a light for you, and you can see a little bit better, it could be enough to leave the room. Because you're not being nana from the guy so much. We're talking about a case where you're being nana.
So how does the Magen Avraham understand the Rama? Rama says, "Im lo nitztanen kol kach," means it's still warm.
Yeah.
Right. Shadan ruin v'echol im chemo.
But the evidence must eat it.
So meaning. So if they did it only on their own volition.
No. Here's what he told. Even if he told them to do it, this Amna was told. Even if he told them to do it, with the evidence must if you're not being nana kol kach. Even if you told him.
So can you do just that example of the lights again? What's nana?
The lights again. If you could see, you could read.
Right.
The guy comes and turns it on.
You're good.
You're okay.
You're good.
Not just that. Even if you tell the guy to turn it on according to the law.
You can actually ask him to do so. No.
No. If you ask him to do it for you.
If you already have a light on.
If you have a light on and you want to see more.
Yeah.
It says b'di'evet it's mutter. Even if you ask him. Only b'di'evet. But if you know it's usher and you ask him to do it for you. It's also
but it has to be a situation where it's okay to begin with, and he just makes it a little better.
Correct. Yeah.
So but even then, it's a b'di'evet. You're saying
only b'di'evet.
Let's say only b'di'evet. Let's say a situation happens all the time. It's Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur in the shul, and everybody's complaining the air conditioning's not.
Okay, so that's something else. So 1 second. That we'll get into, Mr. Shem. If you're own private in your house and you can't see well, and if he puts on the light or in the shul where it's not comfortable and you want to put on the air conditioning, that's something else. Because that could be called a shvus b'malka mitzvah. That's something else. Shvus b'malka mitzvah could be its mutter, imiramis to him, that's a whole different atayrim. But they have a atayrim b'malka mitzvah. We're talking about over here in your house.
Right.
There's no heter b'malka mitzvah. So to tell a guy to do something for you, even though you're not nana kol kach, it's awesome. Right? That's referred to.
This is a Sudas mitzvah though. I mean, it's you're eating Shabbos.
Sudas mitzvah doesn't mean a mitzvah. If you have all the food, doesn't mean a Sudas mitzvah. So it's not a loose heter. We can't use this heter for everything. We'll see when we get to the heter that it's not a loose heter. Here you see mefurish that even though you're not being nana kol kach from the goy, it's only mutter b'di'evet. Even if you tell him to do it, b'di'evet it's mutter. If he does it by himself, for sure it's mutter. It's not worse than if you tell him b'di'evet. Right? That's what the Magen Avraham here is saying. One more Magen Avraham lamates. If it's Lichtenstein in the Gamri, then it's a dayan cham, it's mutter. But good the kosav shemaisa hayu v'shetmina shivcha cham v'shechashecha v'asru hatafshil. They asked the tafshil shahaya shoinin v'tiru habasa sheiroch roy laka shoinin. Chiddush is you have a soup. That's it, right? The soup you can't eat cold. The chicken inside the soup you could eat cold. So the guy went ahead and warmed it up for you. So if he warms it up for you, it's awesome. Because you can't eat the soup cold. The chicken that you could eat cold, that's the way the mutter to eat. And don't say no. Chicken has in it some bliss of the soup. That's awesome to eat. We don't say that. We say
can he eat the chicken warm or you have to wait for it to cool down?
You have to cool down.
Cool down.
Soinen. Only soinen.
Are you killing
right? Roy lecho. Soinen.
Is that also the case with the Ramah here? No.
No, the Ramah was warm already.
Okay, so if
that's the code.
Okay, so we're always talking about when it's completely cold.
So let's say a quick recap.
Okay.
A quick recap. If something was cold and the guy warmed it up for you, be'isser, you told him to do it for you, be'isser, was isser the Rabbanan, isser the Eliezer, once he made it from a matzav that it's cold to hot, it becomes usser. Even signing, even though now you're not being negative, it stays also.
No difference between if you tell him or he or.
1 second.
No, if you tell him. If you tell him. If you don't tell him, you're allowed to eat it
if
cold.
He does it for you.
Right.
He does it for you. Without eating cold, not hot.
Right.
You're now going to be nana from a Maisa Akim on Shabbos.
Right.
If he warms it up for you, even though you didn't tell him, it's awesome.